There, standing behind her, was a figure, a man, tall, with dark hair and a heavy weathered jacket. Lena had always prided herself on her independence. After a difficult breakup and a series of unsettling events that had left her life in chaos, she moved into a small apartment in the quietest part of the city. The building was old, with a history that the landlord never spoke about, but Lena didn't mind. She was searching for peace, something she hadn't had in years. Her apartment was on the top floor, offering a panoramic view of the city skyline. The windows were huge, letting in the sunlight that seemed to warm her soul. The space was cozy, if not a little cramped, but it had an undeniable charm. The walls were a faded cream color, and the floors creaked with age. She spent her first few days rearranging furniture and organizing her things, the familiarity of it all offering comfort after months of instability. Everything felt like it was falling into place. But then the strange things started happening. At first, it was little things, objects out of place, a glass she was sure she hadn't left on the counter. She thought nothing of it. It was just her adjusting to the new space. But then one evening while she was cleaning the kitchen, Lena glanced into the mirror above the sink. There, standing behind her, was a figure, a man, tall, with dark hair and a heavy weathered jacket. His face was pale, almost ghostly, and his expression was neutral. But there was something in his eyes, a coldness, a stillness, that sent a shiver down her spine. Lena's breath caught in her throat. She spun around, heart pounding, but the kitchen was empty. She stared at the empty space where the figure had stood, a sense of dread crawling up her back. Shaking her head, she dismissed it. It had to be her imagination. But the next evening, as she washed her dishes, she saw him again, only this time he was closer. Just standing there, watching her. His face was clearer now, as if the reflection itself was becoming more vivid. Lena's skin prickled as she slowly turned around. The room was still empty. Her heart started to race, and she rushed to the bedroom, trying to shake off the unsettling feeling that was gnawing at her insides. She convinced herself she was just tired, that it was nothing more than stress. Maybe she hadn't been sleeping well, but deep down she couldn't deny the fear that had started to creep into her thoughts. As the days passed, the man in the reflection became a constant presence. Whenever Lena passed the mirror, whether it was in the kitchen, hallway, or bathroom, he was there. Always standing in the background, never moving, but always watching her. She tried to avoid the mirror, turning her eyes away when she walked past it. But no matter what, he was there. Always just behind her. Always lurking in the corner of her vision. One evening, after another restless night, Lena was in the living room reading a book to distract herself from the growing unease. She had her back to the hallway mirror, trying to ignore the gnawing sensation that something was wrong. She could hear the soft ticking of the old clock on the wall, but then it stopped. A knock. Soft at first. A quick tap, as if someone was lightly tapping on her door. Lena jumped, looking up from her book. Her apartment was quiet. Too quiet. She had no visitors planned, and no one had come by. Hesitant, she put the book down and walked toward the door, peering through the peephole. Nothing. Confused, she pulled open the door. There was no one there. The hallway was empty. Maybe it was the wind, she thought, or someone in the apartment building on a different floor. She tried to brush it off, but when she turned to walk back into the living room, the knocking started. Again, this time louder, more insistent. Knock, knock, knock.